Hello and welcome back to another episode of Host Academy. Today we're going to take a step into the world of making beat maps. Now for some this might be a little bit intimidating, but we are going to walk you through it every step of the way. To start things off, we do have to have music to work with, so we'll be showing you how to import an MP3 into Oz. Let's select a song from your library of music. My music's in my music folder. I'll just go over here real quick and grab that. Alright. And once you have found the song you want to map, a simple drag and drop will get it right into the game. However, if you do plan to get your beat map ranked, you'll want to make sure your MP3 adheres to the ranking guidelines. We'll put those up for you in the top right of the screen. Now, once you have your MP3 adjusted and imported, you can access the editor by selecting the song. Once in the editor, you will be met with the song setup screen. There are quite a few things to change here, but for this demonstration, let's just get our difficulty named and we'll press OK. Now, if your MP3 doesn't already have the artist and title metadata, you will have to fill that in as well. Now, we should now be in the timing tab. This is where you can time your map. This can be either easy or hard, depending on if the song has multiple BPMs and if you have a good ear. I will cover timing in more detail in a future episode, but for now, we're just going to go ahead and skip over that. And after your map is timed, you may wish to add a background to bring your playfield to life. Some people can't work without a playfield. Some people need it blank while they map. It's really everybody's preference. You can do this with a single drag and drop of an image file, or you may use the Add Background button in the Design tab that we'll go over in a moment. Again, if your map is going for ranking, there are certain criteria guidelines that must be met, and we'll go ahead and put links to background guidelines up in the video as well. So now that we're done with all that, we're going to go ahead and go down, and now that the timing is added, you can start to look around the editor. We'll be going over each of the editor buttons and what they do. The main tabs are as follows. You have Compose tab. This is where hit objects are placed and edited. Most of the time spent in the editor is going to be done here. You also have Design. This is where storyboards are made. Good storyboards can take as much time or even longer than making a good beat map. So most people only use this for inserting backgrounds or little other things. We'll cover this tab in storyboarding in a future episode as well. Timing. Now, this is where the song's BPM and offset are entered. This window will also control hit sounds if they aren't constant through the entire map. And song setup, it'll be the first screen you meet, but we'll go over it as well. This is where various options regarding the maps are set. This includes combo colors and even difficulty settings. And now I'll go ahead and go over each button in the tab. In the Compose tab, you have the Select button. This button will let you select notes that you've already placed, allowing you to edit either their position or timing. Circle, this button, it pretty much explains itself. It allows you to place circles on the timeline. Just move your cursor to where you want to place the circle and click. That'll probably be your go-to button for creating maps. Sliders. This button will allow you to place sliders and shape them to see how you fit, however they fit, really. The left click as many times as you want to create path points for the slider to follow, then right click once you're done placing points. I will go over shaping and making good sliders in a future episode. Spinners. These will allow you to set a spinner and its length. You can left click where you want the spinner to begin and right click where it should end. The New Combo button allows you to select a new combo and remove one by clicking it when highlighting a circle or slider start. The Whistle, Finish, and Clap buttons, they allow you to assign hit sounds to your notes. Highlight whatever note you want with the Select tool and then press the button on the right for the hit sound you want. Grid Snap will enable notes to snap to the grid you have selected. We will go into more details on the grids in a later episode. There's a lot of stuff to cover here, guys, so we're going to go ahead and walk you through what you need for your basics of mapping today. And Distance Snap. Having this enable means the distance between notes will always match the length of time between notes. This should be in most cases, especially for newer mappers. You should probably keep that on for the beginning and start experimenting once you've gotten a little bit better with how the editor works. Lock notes. If you highlight a note and press this button, you'll be unable to move that note around. You can still apply hit sounds, new combos, and so on. This can be useful if you accidentally keep dragging notes when you select them. We also have the timing panel. This is a panel we saw earlier when timing the map. You can, if you change your mind about slider settings, or even if you want to change the timing itself, you can return here at any time. In the song setup, this is where you could set difficulty settings as well for your map, as well as edit all the miscellaneous options that aren't covered anywhere else. You can name your map difficulty anything you like, but make sure the difficulty settings match how hard your map actually is. This should be everything you need to know to start off mapping. Now that you have put everything together, let's try placing some circles on the playfield. To place beats, you can either scroll back and forth across the timeline with your scroll wheel, or you can place beats live with the music by pressing the play button down at the bottom right. You can also select one of the several different playback speeds to make sure you place notes at the right time. If the music's going too fast for you, don't worry too much about where you're placing the beats, as we can move them later. For now, just focus on keeping them snapped to the music. I personally recommend placing no more than 20 objects at one time, so you can properly structure each combo. While we are on this though, I think now is a good time as ever to go over some of the game's shortcut keys. These will come in handy while mapping. We'll go ahead and put an overlay over here for you so you can see that. These should be the main shortcut keys you use. There are more complicated editor options, but we'll go over those in the future. Now that you've been placing beats for a while, now it's time to test what you've created. You can test your map at any time by pressing the test button at the bottom of the editor next to the play and pause buttons. Be sure to test your beat map often, as it is one of the best ways to find errors in your map set. You may also submit your beat map to Osu by hitting Ctrl-Shift-U and following the instructions on the screen. Submitting a beat map allows others to download it for themselves and allows others to take a look and help point out problems you might have. But remember, there are tons of submissions out there, so most people would rather help with maps that aren't total disasters. And I hate to be blunt with it, so make sure your map is the best you can make it before asking for help. Well, that's all from us for this episode. Keep playing around and see what you can create. We'll explain to more advanced editor functions in later episodes, so keep an eye out. Until then, we'll see you real soon.